Well, and I know that there are some people here who are unaware of what the Mises Institute is about. So I just want to talk a little bit about this, why Mises is such an important thinker for understanding our world. And, you know, we all have to have a theory of society, a theory of how things work, if we're to go about our lives in a rational way. And the Austrian School of Economics has provided that, and particularly the theories of Mises has provided that lens that permits us to understand the course of human events. And the core of Mises's understanding was, of course, to praise the free market and to condemn the government. That's a superficial view, and I don't have a problem with that. Nobody at the Mises Institute does, but it's a little more sophisticated than that. Mises re-rendered market theory in a way that helps us understand it more precisely. Traditionally, capitalism has been seen about the power of capital, or the incentives that it gives producers when they compete with each other to do a better job and build a better mousetrap, and all of that's fine. But for Mises, his core understanding of the market was that the market is the place that permits the greatest amount of human cooperation through freedom of association, so that we can come together cooperatively to apply all of our individual talents in ways that benefit ourselves individually and benefit the whole of society also. So for Mises, the market system is a system of social cooperation. That's a kind of a different understanding of the market than you're going to get from the media or from most professors in the Department of Literature, or from most sociologists or anybody else. And once you understand this point, you begin to understand too that there's the agency of the state is constantly at war with this system of social cooperation, because rather than working through mutual agreement and exchange, mutually beneficial exchange, the state works based on one principle and one principle only, and that's the principle of coercion. So when you understand this difference between the market on the one hand as a system of social cooperation, collaboration, it's like one gigantic, global cloud computing solution, that's the free market. And then the state, which really consists of a gang with a bunch of sticks and guns and bombs and that sort of thing. That's all it is. Now, this is a very clarifying model to understand the world. And I would urge all of you to dip into the works of Mises so that you can understand them all a little bit more. Because once you get this conception of the social order in your mind, lots of other things make sense. And I want to just recommend to you, in particular, this book by Murray Rothbard. It's called Power and Market, where he lays out really this Misesian theory in the clearest possible terms. I remember some years ago hearing some speech by a politician saying that we needed protectionism to bolster our domestic industry and save such and such industry from foreign competition. And he said in particular, too, that it's really regrettable that U.S. workers have to compete with foreign workers who are working at such low wages. Okay, I remember thinking at the time, I thought, that's really stupid. But he doesn't know why it's stupid. And thinking that if I could just send this guy one book to understand that subject and all other subjects related to interventionism, it would be this book. Because what Murray does in this book is he classifies all forms of government intervention into three types: autistic, which affect only the individual; binary, which affect the trade between two individuals; and triangular, which affect trade between that affect groups, attempts to trade between three or more individuals. And he classifies all interventions and explains really patiently, but very quickly, in 2 or 3 pages, what's wrong with each of them, and how each of these types of interventions fail to achieve their stated aim in every single case. And the case is so comprehensive, you know, you're left kind of at the end with, almost left breathless. You realize, there's nothing good that the state can do for us that we can't do for ourselves even better. That's the upshot of this book. And it's a remarkable thing to discover, really. And it's so comprehensive. And what's also nice about this book is that it adopts the Misesian view. You know, he says power and market. Now, I should be clear that in the Austrian view, when we talk about the market, we're not just talking about, commercial exchange. We're not just talking about Jeffrey Tucker buying the head of an alligator from a tourist trap, all right? It's a lot more than that. We're not talking about just stock markets. We're talking about the whole matrix of human association, whether it involves money or not. So every kind of voluntary decision you take is in some way, in the Rothbardian understanding, part of the market economy because it represents a human choice. And the logic of choice is the same whether we're talking about volunteering for a soup kitchen on Sunday afternoon or going to our E-Trade accounts and selling one stock and buying another stock. The logic of human choice is governed by certain universal principles that we can understand rationally. That's the Austrian conception of the market.